Item A was okay. Varsity boys basketball coach stipend, Roman Heights, the high new hire. Teacher certificate, West Crawford, L. Leave of absence. Food specialist 1, classified, Ashton Myers, super high, new hire. Literacy, paraprofessional, classified, Heather McCovey, super elementary, new hire. Literacy, paraprofessional. Yep. Classified, Nicole Nixon, super L, new hire. Teacher, certificated, Alexander Ben, Trinity Valley, new hire on waiver. 8th grade girls basketball coach stipend, Jessica McKinnon, the elementary new hire. 7th grade boys basketball coach stipend, Nicole Nixon, Hoopa L, new hire. Senior class advisor stipend, Misty Knight, Hoopa High, new hire. JV boys basketball coach stipend, Lyle McKinnon II, Hoopa High, new hire. Band director stipend, Peter Cole, Hoopa High, new hire. Freshman class advisor stipend, Melanie George Moore, Hoopa High, new hire. Item 3B, no action taken, and item 3C, no action taken. And voting, and the vote was, well, yes, Myers, yes, I should say yes, Kadushka, I, Lonnie, I, McLaughlin, I, George, I, Candace. Oh, no, she recused, that's right, you did recuse yourself on item A, item 3A, she recused herself. It passed. Superintendent's report.
It's an honor and a privilege to continue being your superintendent. I hope for your support for the rest of the year. Thank you.
Did you think you had a 7B?
There's no 7A or B on my agenda.
The numbers are all.
The numbers just have to go down. So
Okay,
it's
right
after
the Taiwan trip.
So we already
Okay.
Eight,
We already did it. 8B,
We
we did the exempt reductions to maintenance of effort. I don't think so.
No, we did A.
That's what, right, that's what I'm talking about. B. It's just a discussion. Yeah.
Who wants to explain that? Go ahead, Carmen, explain.
You wanna explain that? No.
Okay, it's an exempt reduction to the maintenance of effort, the county office, our SELPA office out on the coast. They provided us with our maintenance of effort. We had a decrease in enrollment of children with disabilities in the amount of $117,179.94. Therefore, we have an allowable exemption to our MOE. Our MOE is our maintenance of effort in regards to our special ed students. We have to keep our funding level at the same level year after year unless we have any type of exemptions. And we get penalized, or we could get penalized if we don't meet that maintenance of effort. So in other words, we have to expend the same amount every year on those students to meet that level. Because we've had a decline, we also had a decline in the revenue in regards to special education. And so therefore our decrease is in the enrollment. And we'll be able to take out 117,000 from what our previous level was at. So that's what that is.
There's not really a fiscal impact.
It is a fiscal impact when you look at a decrease in our enrollment. That will become a fiscal impact. It lessens the current maintenance by 117.
So is
We're
this
down
accurate?
10 students, instead from the year before.
Is this an accurate? Is that because
Yes.
it's an accurate picture that have gone someplace else, or because they've exited the program?
Probably both.
Could be both. It could
We have some hands up in the audience.
So I have a question. Is it an accurate portrayal that we are losing students or exiting students, or is this just because we just we're behind on our assessments.
It may be that some of our students have graduated and were exited out of an IEP, or maybe just a student just exited also out of an IEP, and therefore.
But is this a result? So I guess what I'm asking is this a result of being behind in assessing our students?
Because this is a decline, an exit of an IEP. So enrollment drop.
Maggie, I'm sorry, your hand first.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in COVID, right, we lost a year of maybe identifying students who could qualify for a SPED. And then even in the year after, and I'm just gonna use Hoopa Elementary School as an example, because I was there. There wasn't a lot of referrals going in for SPED qualifications in that first year recovering from COVID. I don't know what the reason was, but I think it was because typically students would get denied eligibility for special ed if they are not attending school, right? So if there's a lack of attendance, which we had a lot of declined attendance after we returned from COVID, it was, especially in the younger ages. So much so that we used to have 2 RSP teachers at Hoopa Elementary School. And now because of numbers, there's only 1. But it doesn't mean that there's not a need for SPED services at Hoopa Elementary School. They just haven't been identified yet. And if you have one less person to help in the identification process, then you're losing kids. Those kids are going to be falling through the cracks. So, I mean, I think Kai went to Orleans, and even in that year coming back, Kai was very focused on intervention and getting SFA off the ground, because in her mind, it was like, we need to put like tier 1 strategies in place where everybody has access, like SFA. And then hopefully that program will be successful. We can catch kids before there's too much learning loss. But I do think that there probably is an absence of identification right now.
Dr. Kimball?
That's okay.
Okay, Donna?
Yeah, I think that when Carmi read that report and looking at the board and seeing how you guys respond to that, but we know we're not identifying those kids. There's no way we can be declining in that department. There is no possible way unless you just want to wear a big lie on your back, because we have so many children that needs to be identified in the last 20 years. I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about we never ever have been in compliance with our special ed program. We have never been. So to say that there's a decline, that's not true. It is not true. There's a lot of students out there that need to be identified, and those numbers will go up more than you could even imagine. And that is the truth. So I don't want these people here to believe that, oh, all of a sudden we don't have. We have now, in the last 10, 15 years, we have children with alcohol syndromes. We have drug babies. We have so many more students that's come aboard that should be identified as, with disability. Is to give this information out and expect people to believe it.
That they exited the program.
Yeah, no, they exit, yes, when they go out, but they keep, we have a rollover every year of students.
I don't think that the report was specifically saying, it was just saying that right now we're lower than we were, but I agree, identification is.
And this is for last fiscal year, 2021 to 22. Okay,
Then we should say in that
what
report
we lost.
that we didn't identify, we didn't keep up with those
Well,
numbers.
It was
And so
generated. by
that's
the
why
county.
we made the mistake and didn't identify. So our numbers are down because lack of
Assessments. and
assessment,
identification.
yeah, and whatever. That is what has happened here. It's not because, oh, all of our.
So I guess, what,
Yeah, so that's
the
all. I
point
have to say.
that's trying to be made is the board needs to understand that whatever is holding up the process for assessment, if a student is identified in second grade by a teacher for needing an assessment and then comes into fourth grade and still hasn't had that assessment, what is stopping that? Where is the,
Can we hear it?
where are we being dropped off?
So I have a memorandum from the United States Department of Education here, and I think maybe one of the ways in answer to what you're asking, Tina, I think like one of the gaps that we're seeing here is, so this says here, does my child have to be referred to the student study team before assessment for special education? And I think that maybe there's a gap in understanding around how this process goes. And so like, as I understand it, I think our students sometimes we're having student study teams to look and try to do these other interventions first, right? Which is also like stated in IDEA, like we're supposed to do that, right? But here in this memorandum, and I brought copies for the board that I would like to leave you with so you can take a look at it. But here on the second page, it says, while the law requires the school district to consider and utilize where appropriate the resources of the regular education program before making a referral for special education, the SST process cannot act as a substitute or for a delay of the special education assessment and IEP timelines without the parent's consent. So like if a parent asks for an evaluation and the school staff replies with, we're going to do a student study team, unless you ask the parent directly, the law states, like, unless you say, is it okay if we delay this legal timeline in the IDEA Act for your child? And the parent agrees, yes, you can delay that timeline while you do the student study team. We are supposed to be following the timeline that is stated. So, and I think that, and I wanted to frame this comment with like, I really don't want to see fingers pointed at anybody, because I just want to remember that like we inherited this colonial mess in this school district. And so that we can approach it like in a collaborative way to try to problem solve, like, how can we address this? But my recommendation would be that we create some kind of a memo or something that goes out to all teachers and staff so that we understand this, so that we're not like losing students in the identification process over long periods of time because we're not following the timeline, because people think that we have to do this student study team and it takes longer.
So I have a question, because I know that parents can ask to have their students assessed, but can teachers make that recommendation without having to go through?
What's the answer, Dr. Kimball?
Yes, they can.
Thank you.
Okay.
On the assessment plan, and ask who's making the referral. Could be a parent, a teacher, could be a nurse.
Or a
district
community member.
nurse.
Or an
But
advocate.
do they have a call is that there was, I don't want the hoops to jump through, but it seemed like I just, here's a good situation. Seasoned teacher, teaching for 20+ years, says this student needs to be tested. And but then it's like, well, we want you to do this and have this meeting and this meeting, and then we'll decide that we're going to test them. But by that time, now the school year's over, and then they have to start again in September. So can a teacher just say, I need to have this student assessed? Can that happen?
When an assessment plan is signed by a parent and dated, you got 60 days from that date of the parent's signature to get the thing done and report back.
Okay.
60 days, that's it.
And
Parent signature.
well, yeah, so exactly. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think an answer to your question, Martha, is that teachers do not have the same power that parents have.
That's what I was.
If the parent asks, the legal timeline starts. But if the teacher suspects it, then hopefully the teacher can talk to the parent and get the parent on board, right? But that's not always easy, because it's a really delicate thing to talk to parents about, right? And sometimes parents, if the teacher tries, so hopefully we can get our teachers more training, right? So that they can better be able to talk with parents. It's one of the hardest things in the world to do. If they can't get the parent on board, please correct me if I'm wrong, then it's not the same legal timeline for the teacher, and we do have to do the study team. Am I correct? Or I'm
No,
not-
that's right. I mean, it's
I
the
think
parents
that's-
or guardian's signature and date that start the 60-day timeline.
Okay, parents have the
Anybody can
power.
make a referral
Yeah.
for this to occur, but the parent has to sign it.
For the timeline to begin.
For the timeline to start.
Martha, can I-
We are getting a little bit
Can-
off
Can I
subject
say
here, but
something about what we're talking about? We're talking about this whole discussion here. We're in the business to educate our children. We shouldn't be saying, oh, we got 60 days because, little Johnny can't pick up a pencil and write, right? So let's wait our 60 days and then we'll have him assessed. Okay, he says, that's how much longer are we gonna wait then? And then we'll wait another 3 months, and then pretty soon school is out and we've lost that child. This is what's happening here. This is exactly what's happening here with the majority of our babies.
Yes. Donna.
And I don't care how many times any of you guys want to say, we have 60 days.
we're gonna take one more comment and then we're gonna move on. Thank you.
I do think it would be in the district's best interest to make sure that we have at least 2 RSP teachers at Hoopa Elementary School, because part of that RSP, at least at the younger grade, should be providing that evidence to the state that we are doing the requirement of child find. So there is a requirement by law for special education that we are supposed to be actively finding students that could be qualifying for SPED. And then, after the assessments and whatever, you have to have people to deliver services. So even if we had, a good infrastructure in place where we were finding students that qualify for special ed, in addition to bringing students on through a traditional practice of teacher recommendation or parent recommendation, you have to have those interventions. And so right now we don't have a person finding young people, and we don't have a person to provide the interventions if we did find them, because all of the case management is being done by one person at a school that has 400 kids. So that position needs to be flown again, or is it flown? It's just not filled.
Do we have them?
An administrative decision was made by the principal to go with one teacher. It wasn't anybody sitting up here at this board.
Well, you can't eliminate a teacher without it being bargained, though, right?
So move on to the next.
Good question. Good answer.
Oh, consent agenda. I have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second, I do have a comment.
Okay, comment?
Yeah, on the consent agenda, item G, second reading board policy and regulation 3515.3 district policy regarding the security department. It's on page 57. And under option 1, second paragraph, third sentence, the board may contract with a private licensed security agency. I would like to add or tribal police.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And then consent agenda. And action item. Oh, we already did A. That's the consent. I've got a different.
All of the numbers are one behind, so
They're all.
our action items are all listed as 9 instead of 10.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
9 or 10.
Just read the actual.
Just read A.
And 10 is reports of information.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all, mine's different too. I don't know what's going on. The Gambit thing just did a rehaul
They won't even let you into some of it and it's jumping.
Mm,
So
Okay.
they did an update.
Did you?
Well, we'll just go,
So we're doing
Bit by
action
bit.
items, right?
action item,
Let's read the title.
10A, we did that.
The table goes on.
10B, approval of Captain John C. grant, approve our MTSS C grant for another year to support our students through a strength-based and culturally responsive program. Do I have any discussion on that?
I have a question. Under the budget, it had a youth cultural resilience mentor, $15,000. It had under object code 2000s. Is that to include statutory benefits?
Ms. Moya, that's your question.
Is that that's under the 3,000s?
Does that mean like the person that is taking that position would get like statutory benefit?
Statutory benefits are required ones. What are they for one?
The taxes, FICA.
So the 15,000. If it's being included, it's the payroll taxes.
Oh, I was hoping that the 15,000 was going directly to the mentor.
Okay.
Because they're just coming in to help facilitate.
Then you're missing the statutory behind it, which is about 20, what is it, 25.67% of that. So within this budget, there should be some 3,000s in here that represent that amount. So I don't know if you want to make a difference.
I could take it out of another area and then add it so that the mentor is able to get that plus.
So the statutory benefit is how much percent?
About 25.67%.
But that would include our portion of it, right?
All of it, that's
I mean, but
out
they,
the door. They're not receiving anything. They gotta pay the payroll taxes.
So that they
Right.
don't have to,
But-
it doesn't take it out of there.
but part of that's taken out of their check. Isn't it
Yes.
like only 12% that we pay?
I have
Social Security.
But I could take it from another area because we have.
We could work on it.
Yeah, I could take it from
I'll
another
get you
area.
the exact
That
amount.
was like, thank you, because that was like the main thing, part of our thing was really to get that person to come to help us facilitate the things that we wanted.
Is that the budget correct?
Thank you.
And I second that.
All in favor? Opposed?
Yeah, well, I can,
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna get a kink in my neck. But I just have a problem with it being approved without the adjusted budget numbers, so you can actually see what is going to go where.
I think she was gonna take it out of another portion.
I understand that, but what pot is she taking that out of? And what effect is it gonna have on the rest of that budget?
The total would still be, the grant total would still be the same. It would just be a decrease in another area, which would.
But like I said, you don't have an accurate budget that you're approving. And that's what it's saying, to support the students, approve our MTSS grant, and this is part of the grant, correct?
Yes.
I would move the money from the supplies to the money back.
There's 3,752 in the cultural supplies. That's where that would decrease.
And the indirect costs for,
But the indirect cost was required by the grant and it's for it going through the.
Oh, right.
For all the different stuff. Okay. 2.9%.
2.99.
We already voted on it.
Yes, we did.
Just so that you know, 25% of 25 is more than 3,000.
See, right?
Oh, it's 15, oh,
yeah, we're on the
25 is the total.
memorandum
Sorry.
of understanding between Clement Trinity Joint Unified School District and KTTA staff retention. Do I have anybody that would like to comment on that? Your comments?
What is that? Can you explain that?
Okay. So it's our effort to retain staff that we have.
I can-
Oh,
So last year, Gen 1 offered any teacher and certificated person that worked at Jack Norton Elementary a $5,000 stipend. And Gen 2, that's me. I would like to continue that practice this year. This is for Rodney McKinnon. And I vote that we approve that. It's forever to get there. It's forever to get home. He dedicates his life to that school. I would like to honor him in that way.
I have a question. The union, Kim, could you weigh in on this? Is this approved by the union?
If it's the same one as last year, then yes, but I do have one quick question. Are we eliminating the primary position there?
That's not in this.
No, we are not eliminating.
We're
it.
still actively recruiting for a teacher down there?
I hired one last summer and
I realize.
they didn't take it. But I have an idea for next year. I have a TK coming in line. Dawnine will be teaching. This is just, I haven't even talked to Jennifer about
Insurance and recycling.
which pack TK 1-2, Jack Norton having a 3-4-5, and then Rodney being a 6-7-8. And I just think that would be a much better teaching environment, having them closer together. It's really hard for Rodney to teach 5 grade levels.
Okay, so Debbie.
Ready to approve?
I make a motion.
Debbie, you're second, all in favor?
Ronnie second.
Opposed? Cooper Valley High School overnight field trip request. Maggie. This is yours.
Yes. So every year, our music department goes to a festival. It's a Music in the Parks festival where they compete with other programs, other high school programs. They do a lot of hard work in fundraising prior to going. So I know that they've done a couple of concessions already at volleyball games and at football games. I think they plan on doing a couple more concessions during basketball. It's a program that's led by Peter Cole. And, you know, I have cruised through their practices in choir a couple of times, and they're very dedicated and really work hard to be competitive.
I just have one question.
And they always bring home a trophy.
I have one question. Cost to the district is for sub wages on May 19th, approximately $180 current sub rate. Okay, that's for the high school teacher. What about Karen? Do you have a sub or no sub cost when you're gone?
I just have a teacher on staff with an administrative credential and she becomes teacher in charge.
Okay.
If we were to give her some extra money, that'd be great, but she's done it in the past.
Okay. I move
But
we
do you
approve.
put school related when you do
I
your,
move we approve.
that's the cost if it's school related.
It is the second.
Then yeah, there's
So-
a low cost.
Well,
I don't know what the cost is.
Sorry, we're voting. Do you have another comment, Dad?
no, I just didn't. I was trying to process the comment about it being a school related cost because the school's
Karen.
already paying. But but the school's already paying for salaries. So when I interpret like what's the cost of district, to me, it's more like what's an additional cost to the district to go, not a cost that you're already paying. You know, because like I didn't list Peter's salary because we're already paying that. It's not
That's not the question.
Okay.
Not the question about here.
okay.
Did I already say all in favor? Opposed? Did you vote?
I said, yeah.
It's the math.
Memorandum of understanding between Northern Humboldt Union High School District Community School Grant Technical Support.
I move we approve.
I second.
Do we have any discussion? Erica.
A quick question, just a little bit of background. I didn't know the community school, if you could just share a little bit of background, because I know we've talked about other kind of community school, special ed, special things have been
No, this is
coming up.
not, it's just named community school, but it doesn't mean that we're creating a community school. They just named it like this. So did you get the handout that has all the
Yeah,
details?
I'm still a little confused by it. So are we getting money?
Yes.
From this MOU?
Yes.
And then that's what the 100,000, 50,000? Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't get this part. Sorry.
That's the part I was wondering.
Thank you.
And the majority of.
Yeah, we already did.
All in favor? Opposed?
Was there another handout over here?
Memorandum of understanding Humboldt Hill North South for behavioral special activities. So are
This is yearly.
Every year.
are we getting service stuff?
Yes.
We are. Okay.
County office pays 2.10 of a person of their time. Come up here.
Okay.
So that's $17,712 worth of services at a $984 daily rate.
But does that person, because they've been coming up, sir, because I thought,
They will now that you approved it.
okay. Let's vote. Well, do I get a first? All in favor? Yes. Opposed? And H, approval of resolution number 22 to 42, educational assignment notification.
So basically, this is a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teachers in our district that are operating on waivers or special short-term staffing permits because they are not fully credentialed. And that's on the last page.
I shall be doing.
Who made the motion?
Debbie.
All in favor? Two ayes.
Then she said, oh, I said I. I'm getting tired, right out loud.
Could I chime in on this waiver of the teacher status? I don't know if you're aware, but you had a teacher on this, one of these teachers on this waiver that you just approved. The individual was, his or her check was stopped and held at the district office and was notified the day of at the end of the month. Are you aware that communication error or something's happening where some of these teachers or this particular teacher his check was held without communication until the day of? So here's an individual that has obviously living costs and it was tied up. Are you aware that the district office is holding teachers teachers checks and asking that person to come in and sign certain waivers? And my concern is for my colleagues that are on waivers, the communication well beforehand, so there's not a financial burden, so to speak, in the future for such waiver teachers. Were you aware that happened is my question.
Yes. The person had an obligation to turn in some documents. The person had plenty of warning to do that. The person didn't do it.
Fair enough. It's not the way it was reported to me, but you know more than I.
Okay. Leave it like that.
Mhm.
Hi, Jack Norton Elementary Site Plan. What about you? Approval of resolution 22?
F as well.
We just did that.
F goes,
Oh,
yep.
did we vote on it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. You just did it. We just did it. You did it. You have my program. The discussion prior to your vote, prior to your vote, or at the after? I think that's what it is.
The discussion.
Yeah, what part, where does that come up?
Yeah, we had that and then the page spoke after.
Okay, yeah, all right. Making sure, because it seems like that's confusing people.
Yeah.
I move we approve the Jack Norton Elementary site plan. I read through it and thought it was well done.
I did too. Thank you,
I second
Jason.
that. I second that motion.
We have any discussion, Jason? You have anything to
Look.
add?
Karen's has approved the site plan underneath hers
Just
and
because I wrote that
Ma-
and I put it on there.
you did?
Yeah, it said, what do you want to have happen? I said, approve the site plan
Oh,
when I put it on the agenda. That's-
I learned a lot coming. Okay, thank you.
We were wondering if you wanted us to approve.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
You like replacing?
Yeah, but I don't want to brag too much because I don't want to make anybody else upset.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Okay. Did we get a first and a second? No, what did we get a second? Okay, all in favor? And opposed? Hearing none, the site plan passes. Woo-hoo, Jason. Orleans Elementary site plan.
Very condescending.
We're evidently supposed to approve this one too.
I move we approve and again, Karen, good.
Yeah.
Plan.
Good job. I actually read the whole thing.
Fire, did you second?
So I said,
Okay.
Lori's motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Site plan passes. 11, reports and information.
Did you do F, Martha?
Pardon me?
Did you do F?
No.
Okay.
I did
Oh.
the foster youth, yes.
No, I didn't. Okay, F, memorandum of understanding, foster youth regional liaison. We have any comments? Anybody?
This is the yearly thing.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were speaking on behalf of the earlier, and when I misspoke.
I move that we approve the memorandum of understanding for foster youth regional liaison.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 11, reports and information. We have, let me read all these.
No. Yes.
No.
No, I didn't say, are we supposed to read? Am I supposed to read?
We're reading the table if you've been reading. Some of the
Why?
Right.
Then the new board coming on and not ever having a first reading.
And we're tabling reports and information A through L.
Yeah. Captain John High School.
You're here, stand up.
Hi. Do you guys have any questions? My report?
I've been hearing good reports of things happening at Captain John. Thank you.
I need to get through this, yeah.
So I have like two Captain John. I don't have each elementary.
I think we thought elementary was on our desk when we got here tonight.
Well, I wasn't part of it. It was right on.
And now it's been removed. Yeah.
We said these are all this information.
Yeah, these are just.
Information, yeah.
Jack Norton, which Jack Elementary School? Any comment? Hoopa Elementary School.
We have one from Teresa. One that was, then one from Dr. Kimball.
So, are we going to be receiving them from vice principals? and-
I would like to receive them from all three. They all have different aspects of what they're doing to the job.
But we just have two this time?
Yes.
May I ask who you submitted?
Mondragon and Dr. Kimball.
Trinity Valley,
Actually, could I chime in for Hoopel? We had an excellent meeting, camp meeting the other day, that I thought was very productive. For us to air, environment at the school. And, Jennifer, you got anything to add there? You were there?
I think it's unique as a district that we realize that there's no other district like us in the world, so we can't copy other districts on what they're doing as far as their implementation of different programs. We have to usually invent our own to fit our needs, and I think that was loud and clear in the whole conversation.
Moving in a good direction, I feel.
I also thought there were some very positive and productive suggestions, and I'm waiting for you to
Processing those, yeah.
process up the other comments and read those, but I think it's been very positive. I know the environment there has been very difficult for everyone. And I thought it was positive, and I like the direction that teachers are suggesting and the collaboration. I mean, let's help. You know, I thought that was very positive. So I commend all the staff at the
Thank you, board members that attended. Superintendent.
Hoopa High School. Maggie, I loved your report, by the way. I have to say, it was very informative.
I do my best, keep you guys informed.
Orleans Elementary Board report. Karen, do you have anything to add? No? Okay, well, since I'm there almost every day. As long as it's not telling them I'm grandkids. Right. Even Education Director's report. Erica.
Here.
Yay.
Nothing to really add to the report. We are in the process of trying to host not the Acorn Festival that has happened previously, but a similar kind of fall family culture night between now and winter break. Fingers crossed at all the sites if I can pull it off. So we're trying. Hoopa L will be scheduled for the 17th, and then we're looking at the end of the month / December 1st for Orleans, and then we'll get in touch with our other administrators for other days. So things are moving, and it'll be wonderful when I have another person in my office with me. So,
Reach out to the school sites if you need volunteers for those events.
amazing. Yes, I definitely will. I had a good conversation with Chip today too.
Okay,
So that
nice.
was really good.
Maggie?
I'm just curious about trying to utilize more of our community events as also an opportunity to provide input on the LCAP and things. And so it would be nice to have some sort of template, like football games are harder for me to access that kind of information, but basketball season's coming up. And so if there's a way to kind of like have some sort of QR code to an online thing, or, you know, I mean, just like multiple ways of trying to get input. When our families come to our schools, I feel like that's the best time.
Yeah, like, are you thinking of like in the program or posted or?
Well, I'm just like thinking at Acorn events, like, you know, there's stations typically of different things to do. And that could be like a station to do. Basketball games are a little bit harder, but I mean, if we had something, you know, that was at least set up, we can see who comes, you know, it could be tied to something like a little discount in the snack shack or something. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So I'm still planning to do the community dinners.
Okay.
Erica and I have the dog and pony show, and we're gonna take it on the road here soon, and I expect to get a lot of input as well.
Okay. And wellness system report, September through October. And I have, Loma, you wanted to comment on that?
I don't know if this fits in the right place, but I just saw wellness systems because, and I didn't know if, folks are aware, I became aware that the wellness policy for the district would be revised. I became aware of this because I'm on the Oregon Site Council and Becky came to the Site Council meeting and brought it. So that's how I came across the document. But I'm really hoping that more folks can know that this is happening because I think it's important. This wellness policy is really important and we have a chance to really get some good important language in there. And so I did just reach out. I reached out to Becky a little while ago. I haven't heard back from her, but I did send an email to Melissa with some suggested edits. And I think what Becky, I don't think much work has been done on it. I think that we kind of borrowed it from Del Norte's. I know that before the pandemic, Becky and myself and some other folks had helped contribute to updating the document. And I think it got lost during COVID. I think we kind of had to start over. So I think we're kind of back at square one, but just some of the things like off the cuff looking at it, like there was a mention of trauma-informed education, but it was just kind of like one sentence near the end. And so I was really hoping we could bring that up to the front and really like highlight trauma-informed approaches and what that looks like. As well as later on in the document, there's a section on staff wellness, and I was a little dismayed because it was only one sentence long. And so I think that section really, really needs to be revisited. And I would really hope that we could consult with teachers and with staff to find out what does staff wellness look like. So we can get input from the people who are on the ground about what that really looks like. And also in this document at the end, it recommends a student wellness task force, which I know is something that has come up before. So I was also thinking like, could we possibly look at something that's like a staff and student wellness task force, like together? Because I think what keeps also coming up is just like staff wellness and student wellness are equated to one another. Like if our staff are not well, our students are not going to be well. And so, and I know this has come up before, like, I think it was Miss Tina who told me like, oh, we used to have the sunshine committee, and that's just like one little piece, right? But like the appreciation of staff, but like, how do we better support our staff so that they feel, appreciated and loved and that they're well so that they can, better serve our students. So those are just kind of, I haven't spent that much time with it, but I was waiting to hear back from Melissa, but I'm hoping maybe I put it on a Google Doc. So I'd love to, have as many folks as possible collaborate on what this could look like, because I think it could be a really powerful and useful document for us. So is this, was this what this was about? This agenda item or not even? No? Okay. Sorry.
This is my report. But close enough.
Well, because Becky told me that this was on this month's agenda, this document.
No.
Okay, is it gonna be like, need to be approved in a certain timeline? Does anyone know?
That's this report. That's not, it's. So, Loma, I do hear you, and I think maybe contacting Melissa and Becky, because there's a committee, right?
Right, we are gonna have our second committee meeting and it's gonna address all of that.
Okay.
And I'll make sure you know when it is, it's coming up.
Okay.
So, and it's so great you want to be part of it,
I do.
because there was only 3 of us.
Yeah,
We
I would
need more
love
people,
to.
or 4, we need more people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
CSBA annual conference invitation. Oh. Sorry, KTTA report. Kim?
Nothing, we're just looking forward to negotiating again under our new plan.
Did you pick a date yet?
I'm working on it. 21st is what we're looking at.
The 21st?
Yeah.
Friday?
No, I think it's a Tuesday.
Of December? Oh, November. Next 2 weeks. Okay, that'll work. Great.
And we're also trying to talk about a new structure of how we do that. So maybe possibly because of the sub situation, I'll send it to you, but we're trying to be creative.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
CFPA report?
No, there's no.
Do I have a CFPA report?
Well, it's not here.
And trustee area report.
You could get by switches now.
Oh.
I would like to say.
This is the last regular meeting.
Will not be on the regular board anymore.
Rob, Karen, before you do the goodbye speeches, we should go so that could be the culmination.
They're gone.
Anyway, it's been a very long, interesting career for me in education. And I am a product of Hoopa Elementary and Hoopa High School. And Humboldt State and the ITEP program. Looking over the years, I started my education in the old boarding school building. And in third grade, spring of 1955, we got to pack our books and everything in our desk and walk over to the new school, which is currently the high school with an added wing, and it's expanded, but all grades were housed in the high school. I look back at what the district looked like at that time. There was nothing Indian ed whatsoever. I had teachers tell me to get out of this hellhole as fast as you can. That was the attitude in school. Indian anything was not allowed. I remember going through the years and Indian Hoopa language for Elmer Jarnigan and his daughter. Had to teach Hoopa language in the hallway during lunch hour. It has been a long, long struggle. But from where I sit now, I look out, I look at, we are starting the decolonization process here at the school district. It's historic that you have a local tribal enrolled superintendent. That hasn't happened. We have had one Indian, Bob Sherbeck was an Indian superintendent at one time. He stayed here a number of years and was loved, and the district was running fairly well. Buster. Huh? Buster. I don't know Buster. Yeah, that's your report. Anyway, looking at where we have come, the number of Indian teachers in the classrooms and in administrative positions and on the board is historic. But we still have that us and them attitude. That us and them attitude that was instilled in us through the system. And it comes down, and I think I'm really pleased to hear Kim and Jennifer talk about looking at structures of negotiations. The current structure pits the state against us. It's their agenda against us. So it gets at us and them, us and them. So I really hope that we start looking more at more ways to decolonize our school, a district, and how we better serve our students. It's the students that need it. I hear you, Donna. You're right. You're spot on of what we should be thinking about. Every decision made should be with those students in mind. What's the best for those students? Not what's best for Lauralee or what's best for whatever. It's the kids, it's the kids. And I think we're on the right path. But I wish all of you the best of luck and put aside your own biases, your own things to do what's best for the kids and go forward with decolonizing our school district so that our kids would better survive, be better than we have been. We've come through a lot, but our kids need better. So I thank you. I thank everyone for allowing me to serve and putting up with me. Thank you.
I have to say, when I first came here, I was not an outgoing person. I was very quiet and to myself, and I learned a lot from everybody. I'm just gonna I can hear you online. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a lot from everybody that's in this school district and from the children and their families. What I remember about this school district is there's so many people to help you understand. I've just been blessed to be a part of this district. I wouldn't, and when I look around at other districts, it's just not the same. I really admire Laura Lee. She put herself out to work with ITEP and bring a lot of people from this community that may not have done this had she not provided the opportunities through ITEP and through her support. And you just have my admiration, and it's never going to go away. Thank you. And I got to work with Jennifer. I got to work with, a lot of your kids and grandkids, and they're, this is my family. My family. There are times when I make mistakes, but we all make mistakes and we learn from them, hopefully. There have been some really good times and then there have been some really rough times in the school district. But everybody tries their darndest. They do. And I appreciate it. And the more we work with each other, the farther we're going to get. And you're on the road to possibly doing something that would be wonderful for your community. I'm happy for you. And I can't wait to connect up with people after I'm off the board. So thank you for this, invited me to connect up with her, and I'm happy to connect up with anybody. But I think I'm going to volunteer. I can't leave serving the school district. I can't leave it. I can't leave the kids. They're just part of my family. So I'll serve in a different way.
Okay. Well, I've lived here most of my life by choice. I wouldn't imagine living anyplace else. I love the community, I love the people. And both my wife and I have worked within the school district and worked with kids. And that's probably the most fulfilling job I've ever had. Done quite a few different jobs. But working with the kids is really and then to have in my current doing construction now, I still work with some of the kids that were my students, and it's really a great thing. And then so being able to be on the board for, a decade and a half now, we've been on, something like that.
Yeah.
That in itself has been a really interesting experience that I would not trade for anything. And it's it'll be kind of interesting not to be up here and to be up there instead. It'll be different for sure. But I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I thank you.
Expect all of you to be on the sub list now. Quality.
I wanted to have a public comment and you said to wait till you guys came out
Oh, sorry, go
and
ahead.
you forgot about it. My concern is the after school program. I want to know what the protocol is and how some of the students got picked to stay, to go through the after school program and some of them didn't. Who is those children who, what is the policy on that?
I'm gonna have to direct you to the after school program manager, to the manager. Because I really couldn't tell you what that process is involved.
Is there a policy though?
I'm
there
not sure, because I
anything
don't know
written?
if we've ever had to do that.
I don't recall
We used to-
any. in-
Yeah, we used to be able to just take every student that signed up, because of, it was designed for, the working parent or the people that, need the help after school or extended educational opportunities. It's the discretion of the director and her staff or whoever staff to make decisions of who they can manage and who they can't.
Because a parent come to me and say that her girl came home and said that I didn't do anything, but I got kicked out of the program. That's how she understood it. And this is a student that has been through a lot of trauma. And now, with the point I want to make, we've got to quit kicking these kids around. We've got to be more gentle with, if they can't make it, then explain it to them. Not like, what did I do wrong? Well, again, I go back to trauma. We have a lot of babies that have a lot of trauma. And sensitivity maybe needs to be done. There's 3 of my grandchildren ditched it one day. And I thought they were an after school program. Mom didn't know where they were. Found them over the football field. Nobody missed them. And
Yeah, I think it would be for us to find out if the students were told without the parents being notified. The parents should definitely have
a flyer or something.
I do know that they, because I have my kids in after school, of the ages, but they have only certain slots because they only have certain personnel, so you gotta get your application in right away. So, they have more applicants than they can service, so, from what I understand, and I can't quote, because I don't know, but what I was told was, get your application as soon as possible, and then get on the waiting list if you don't make that round. And
Well,
then-
they're in the program. They're already in.
But
the
yeah,
program.
but answer your question, is there a protocol policy? It's like they
Yeah.
apply and then they get in, but they can only take this many people. Because they don't have some.
Yeah, I think what happened is we have a policy for bringing the students in, but we're not when we have to reduce the number of students, and that's what we need to figure out is what is the policy
The
there?
criteria or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, but that program is always, they're always like, I guess, put down, they're always canceling it.
Any moment, the night before. So anyway, I just thought I'd bring it to your attention. I did talk to
The director.
And I was thinking also that maybe I know that there's in Delmar County, there's they call it grandmother program that they do over there with, and her name is Kim Hughes. And it's a small stipend, not very much, where maybe grandparents could go in and read to them for an hour, wherever the help is needed there. And I think we need to look for some type of help for her there. I know it's hard because she, you know, that when her staff doesn't show up, and that's been for a couple of years. That's a repeating concern. The staff is not showing up. So I don't know. I don't know how to control that, but I think that we need to look at that program and support it more.
Thank you. You know, I did have one more, can we finish our voting? Oh.
Did you have something to say?
I don't have anything to say, let's move on.
Well, I do.
Okay.
No, I had a lot to say, but I'm a little tired and I kind of forgot most of my points, but I did want to touch on the camp meeting that we had at the elementary school. I think that we are making progress. Our overall intention was to create a healthy environment to deliver education. And it's a long process, but I think it's necessary. And sometimes it might feel like it's just a growl fest, you know, but I think that that's what we need. We need to get past that so that we can move forward and start working together. So I think it is a long process. It's something that we have to allow for, you know, and not feel like we're being attacked, because we could definitely walk away feeling that way. But I think that I was really happy to see the number of people who attended, knowing that it wasn't a staff meeting. It wasn't something that was required. The time before it was required and we had a huge group, and this time it was voluntary and we still had a lot of participation. So it reaffirmed my belief that we have staff that really want to deliver education in a good way to our kids. So I'm feeling good about that. And then I had an opportunity, we had a long day, we had a second meeting, the IPP meeting. And I hope that we can get more participation from community people and community members. I think that our attendance is good, but it could be better because I think it's an opportunity for communication. It's an opportunity to hear what concerns are, but that it makes for a long day. You know, hope that you will be compassionate when we maybe don't say things in a delicate way, or maybe when we phrase something a little difficultly. I hope that you will be compassionate to us because it can be difficult, especially when you're being faced with difficult decisions or difficult information. But I appreciate everybody. As always, if you want to contact me, you can call me on my cell phone, you can message me. I wanted to say that Carrie spent a lot of her time really admiring Laura Lee, and I appreciate that. I have a lot of respect for Laura Lee, and I admire all of her efforts and everything that she's been able to do here in the district. And I also really appreciate Carrie. And I think that, you know, a lot, she doesn't like to have attention on her, but it has been really wonderful working with her on the board. She was my mentor teacher in the credential program. And so being able to sit up with her here has been an honor. And having her mentor me through this process has been awesome. And Laura Lee also too, she directed my education. Like she said, she's very accurate in the description. But I just think that I appreciate them both. I appreciate my opportunity getting to work with Rob on the board and in business. You know, he's a great friend, so I appreciate that, and I wish them well, and I hope that they will come back in soon.
I just, you know, everything that she said, it's all right. I'm really tired.
Wait, what about what?
Yeah, we don't know if Martha's gonna win or lose, so she's gotta get.
Percent right now, and she's up.
How much percent?
72.
So we have 12. We have 12, right? The letter for the HCOE election county committee and.
I thought you moved that to action.
Did we? No. We did, but we didn't do it. We didn't do it. Yeah. And so we need to do that. We were
You want to you're nominating Paige? Paige volunteered.
Paige, you accepted the nomination.
To sit on the county board.
That's fine, I'll take it.
Okay, you go.
all right.
I move we approve when, Paige.
I second.
I just wanted to say something in response to Josie's report about asking for that kind of like compassion. And I'm hoping, right, that the board can also understand that staying emotionally regulated after a long day, you mean, and think about like your teachers and your staff that are faced with student issues, student crisis, parent, requests, and that compassion is also lended, it's kind of like, I felt like this was a request to like, we had a long day of working with folks and just recognize that, and the folks that attended those meetings also worked with students all day, and worked with parents all day. And that compassion has to go both ways. And so that, that staying emotionally regulated and being careful about your words is important because it does impact, where those people are at when employees are kind of like, they're stretched really thin, and to kind of hear words that are internalized and can be hurtful is hard.
And unnecessary.
Trauma-informed care.
So I think, can I say one thing on that? The education department, I know the wellness center has them as well. But Erica had ordered all these awesome books, and I just want to spread the word that we have a lending library if anybody wants to borrow any of the books. But I also wanted to offer board members, if you'd like, I could put these books out and you could take one home. If you'd like to have a book and look at them, I think we're trying to get them out more because they're kind of sitting on the counter right now. And so yeah, I would like to offer these. And I think there's a bunch more of these in the wellness center as well, right? That you have purchased, and we donated before I left. We donated to the wellness center. For the last time. Well, I think
Thank you.
I don't know, I know you're leaving, but then I have to talk about with.
Yeah, but it's easy.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm just like gonna go right. It's at 9. I just have a reoccurring meeting with her.
And don't forget
And then I'm doing some calls for meetings all morning, but
Is it
only, like.
coming up or is it next year?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I know, I think that's
Bye, Lorley.
Go home next morning against the fire.
Yeah.
You gotta give me some points. Just find out who my point person is and I can get that to me, and then I can make this say, hey, I'm your guy. Fill in. What do we do? Yep. Any information. As soon as possible. Then I'll hold on. I did.
There's 5 words over there. Yeah, yeah. Are these consistent with current negotiated bargaining agreements? Because if they're not, then. Yeah, well, I mean, then why would you pass a policy that's different than what the contract already says? Like, for example, perfect necessity, that says that was it 7 days? KTJA contract. So you mean you just maybe a minimum of 7 days or something, like maybe it should have an extra word in there. But like, why is this different?
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for, I hope so. I took those over to admin. I would say that it's, I would say, but. Like. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and so.
Come on.
Yeah. Okay.
Kid was using them in the classroom.
Yeah. I think that I told them, they add that sign up that we can tractors on so we can pull in here. You know where the driveway is at night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is, yeah.
And tonight was like.
Well, that was one thing that we need to is. I think we gotta.
See you,
this year,
Karen.
we might grab a bit, is upgrade these lights out here. But then I think they've got new poles in because then we can put more lights out there to brighten that up. And the parking lot needs to be striped the whole way.
It kind of does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help yourself to a book if you like. Yeah, it's more fun in the dark, but in the rain.
No, some of them are a little heavier than others. Some things a little bit more readable. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, right.
I'm doing this morning, 2 years, and pretty much everybody listening, a good listener, and
Orleans we go.
Yeah. And hope that's not that bad.
Not too straight, but it's not a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta watch the ride, you gotta watch. It takes a lot of concentration. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Well,
It's been an exhausting day. I had that into this fire burning network. All day today, yeah, I was up till late last night trying to get everything together, everybody's packets together and everything. And I had to be over there early.
oh, gee.
See you tomorrow, Willie.
See you tomorrow.
Well, we'll see you around. I just hope they can get something done from this.